Hey everybody, I just wanted to give you a little guidance on one particular topic that I saw throughout a lot of people's papers. So if I said context, include context anywhere in your paper, then this video is probably for you. So check it out and it'll help you introduce your points and explain them in your following paper and in your revision if you choose to do one. So when you're introducing a person or a situation like Bill Joy or like the hockey players, you want to explain it to us in a way that's clear. So first of all, you want to tell us that the author mentioned it. So you want to say that this is something coming from Gladwell. Tell us where you're getting this idea. Next, you want to talk about it as if we've never heard of this person or thing before. So the medicine hat tigers or whatever they're called, I literally had never heard of those before. But Bill Joy, maybe we've heard of him. Bill Gates, maybe we've heard of him. We need to pretend that we have not, that your reader has not. I know it's hard because I'm your teacher. You know I've read the book, but imagine that your reader is somebody who has never seen this information and you need to introduce it to them like it's brand new to them. And then not only that, you want to tell us about that person or that situation, and then you want to tell us how that's connected to your larger argument. So I've stolen a few examples, borrowed a few examples from writing that I saw on this first paper. And normally we would do a lot of peer review together in class. You guys are peer reviewing each other's work. So I hope that no one is upset by my sharing this and just giving suggestions based on the work that I've seen. So take a look. Let's look at this paragraph together. Gladwell argues that the circumstances or the opportunities that we get in life is the ultimate purpose why we might succeed. I agree with him to some extent, but I also believe that the talent or intellect we have matters more. Because one fact is that talent is what gets us in a position to succeed. Like Gladwell pointed out in Outliers, people who are considered talented are the ones who are chosen to go to the next levels in sports, music, and school, respectively. And like Bill Joy, because of his intellect, he got accepted into the University of Michigan. And I also believe that it was also his intellect that kept him in the computer room in the first place. Now, this paragraph is making a strong argument about opportunities and about how those who receive those are more likely to succeed. The issue comes here when we get the introduction to Bill Joy, and your reader's like, who's that? Where did he come from? So tell us, Gladwell mentions Bill Joy. Bill Joy is this big software guy. Explain a little bit who he is, and then you can tell us how he fits into the argument. Let's look at another example. Working hard shows people how dedicated you are. Some jobs will give you a raise for your dedication, not just a job. If you play an instrument, sport, schoolwork, or anything you want to achieve, the more work you put in shows your dedication and you will get better. Working hard helps you to get where you want to be in life. It states in Outliers, how much time did I spend there? Oh, a phenomenal amount of time. It was open 24 hours. I would be there all night and just walk home in the morning. So in this situation, we get shown that it is something that's said in Outliers. So we know where this is coming from, but we don't know who this I is here, right? So you need to clearly tell us this is Bill Joy. This is somebody who was spending a bunch of time in the computer center doing all this programming, and connect that back to the idea of hard work and how this particular example helps to explain that. But in this one, it's unclear who the I is and therefore how this is helping to explain the larger argument. Let's look at a couple of examples that do a lot of these pieces, introducing that the author mentioned it, talking about it like we've never heard of it, and also connecting it to the larger argument. Let's look at how this goes. However, in Outliers, the story of success, Gladwell suggests his readers to consider the misunderstood concept that greatness can only be achieved by great labor. The author points out that success stories encompasses people who are the beneficiaries of hidden advantages and extraordinary opportunities and cultural legacies. For example, in chapter 1 of Outliers, the story of success, the author directs his first point towards an odd pattern for the medicine hat tigers in Vancouver, observed by a psychologist, Roger Barnsley, in which the pattern shows most of the players on the roster born in between January and March. This goes to show recruitment was more in favor of players born early in the year due to them being more mature as opposed to players born later in the year who are less mature. So here we get clearly the fact that it comes from this book. We know where it's coming from. We get the description of the situation, right? You can't just say Medicine Hat Tigers in Vancouver. You have to say, okay, what's going on here? Players on the roster. Maybe we could have said actually something about hockey right in here to make it even a little bit more clear. Medicine Hat Tigers in Vancouver, some Canadian hockey leagues, right? Then we get born between January and March, and this recruitment goes to show. So this shows us why this point is connected, right? So we get the introduction, the analysis, all the pieces. Let's look at one more. There are outside influences such as mentors or business connections that can create a domino effect in why we succeed. Take John Norton as a prime example of this effect. Gladwell mentions that he was a man who supervised Bill Gates while performing a job writing code when Gates was just a senior in high school. Gates himself even claimed that Norton taught him as much about programming as almost anyone he'd ever met. This proves that the path to success is never without the influence or inspiration of other people. Okay, so again, we see, take John Norton as a prime example. We don't know who John Norton is yet. Oh, Gladwell mentions him. He's a guy who supervised Bill Gates. Got it. Now I know who this guy is. Now I know how it connects to my argument. All right, and then we're able to move into this next quote that we get from Gates and the final sentence, which is an analysis of how this example helps to prove the larger argument. So going back to the top, remembering to introduce where your ideas came from, explain them as if we've never heard of them, and then connect them to your larger argument. If I said the word context, include context anywhere in your comments in your first paper, I really hope that you'll use these ideas and include them in your next one. Good luck.